So this is a pretty brilliant little machine that there's not too much out there on, and I just got it recently. I've been very pleasantly surprised with this machine. So this is a Sanitaire that's been out for quite a long while and really has gotten ignored compared to the rest of the lineup. The only reason why I purchased one is I've been toying around with the idea of getting one for a very long time, and the machine is actually getting discontinued. Amazon still had them in stock, so I placed an order and got it here. Now, hello kitty. This is based, if you remember, and I can't remember the actual model name, I think it was like a Boss Light is what they called it. But Eureka used to have a version of this that was a bagless machine back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then Sanitaire took the design and adopted it later on with an actual bag in it. So this is kind of their compact, lightweight commercial model. And it's got a folding handle, so you can fold it down. It locks into place at either end. It's a little bit stiff, but locks in place down here. And you've actually got to press the release to bring it back up. You've got a system status indicator light, so if it gets clogged or blocked up or the bag's full, that lights up and turns on. You've got a pretty slim selection of tools, but they're actually very decent tools. So you've got this little dusting brush, but the bristles are actually very, very soft. It's pretty good to dust with, especially for something that's just got synthetic bristles on it. And then you've got a nested, and I actually like this. This is a lot better than what was on the Bissell that we just saw and how the Bissells used to be. You've got a decently sized extension wand and a nice long crevice tool, although the actual crevice portion isn't all that long. And you can also fit the end of the crevice tool onto the dusting brush, so you can have the two of these together to get a longer reach. So if you want to do up around your ceilings or your fans or down on the baseboards without having to bend down, you've got the reach to do it. And then you've got a relatively short but still okay quality and very usable stretch hose on board. They also give you an extended length hose that goes onto the end of this that I'll bring out in a minute to show. And surprisingly, altogether, it works very, very well. And everything just nests back on. Everything's got its little place on the machine. The tools are simple, but they work incredibly well. You've got everything you really need for most jobs, is how I would put it. And then you've got a micron, just basic micron filtration filter down there. I'm not even going to attempt to take this bag cover off because it's a massive pain. The bags are type SL. They're actually, the ones that came in the box with the machine are actually really decent quality. They seem to filter very well for just a plain paper bag. It's this weird, it's almost like a recycled looking brown paper, and then it has this weird almost waxy coating to it, but they tend to filter very well. You've got, now this is one thing that I really liked when I started looking at this machine. There's two motors in it, as you can obviously see, but the second motor for the brush roll uses a geared belt in it, and you've got the reset, so no belts really need to be replaced, no belts to stretch out and wear. And then, of course, you have a selector so you can turn that brush roll off when you don't want to use it. You've actually got decent rubber-coated wheels on the bottom of this. You've got a squeegee to improve pickup on hard floors. And the brush roll, I was actually really surprised. These bristles are stiffer than I thought they would be. Now, they're not very, very stiff, but they're stiffer than, let's say, a 217 from Milo, which is about what I was thinking they would be. You've got your cord wraps on the back, and next surprising feature that I didn't realize this had, you've actually got a legitimate pedal release back here, instead of just a catch that'll wear out. Here's the rating plate. It only uses 6.5 amps, but it's surprisingly got a lot of power and moves a lot of air. So I'm gonna be right back. I'll go grab that extension hose and we'll take a listen to this, see how it runs, and see how it performs. Okay, so this is the additional hose that they give you, which I'm really actually impressed with. Now, it's not the greatest quality hose. It's kind of similar to the plain black plastic Eureka Victory hoses. So, kind of cheap. You want to be careful with it. It's not the most durable thing, but under most household use conditions, you're not really going to have a problem. Now, what I like with it is it actually does give you a very good usable length out of this vacuum. And it's a lot better than machines, even though it's shorter, it's a lot better than machines that have very constrictive stretch hoses that just collapse the second you cap off the airflow, and they just sink back right to the machine and either knock the machine over or drag it towards you, or you just have to fight against the hose the entire time that you're using it. So I'll flip this onto floors. My one slight pet peeve with this is there is no sensor on the power head to let it know that it's in the upright position. So if you have it on carpets and you put it upright to use the tools, the brush is still spinning. To shut the brush roll off, you have to flip to bare floors. That's really the only fault I can find with this machine. So you've got plenty of reach to get really wherever you need to, even up to the ceilings or all the way down without bending all that much, depending on your height, obviously. The machine itself actually has very good suction, incredible airflow for how small it is, and being a clean air motor. And the funny thing about it is, I was talking about this with another collector who I know, and you know who you are. This has a very typical of the time Eureka smell about it. And the only way I can really describe that smell is if you think about, like smaller, cheaper budget Eurekas from the late 90s, early 2000s, around the time this came out, you'll know what I'm talking about. They all have the smell. But it's not really all that bad. You get used to it. So let's take a look at the carpet cleaning performance of this little thing. So we'll flip it to carpets, and away we go. So it cleans very, very well on carpeting, at least the carpeting in my home. It grooms the carpet very well, lifts the pile, and even out of more difficult rugs, like this area rug I'm standing on, that has a habit of trapping pet hair very badly, it manages to dig it out. Now, the one thing I will take you and show you is, much like with that Panasonic, its ability to lift the pile in this hallway here where the carpet is so badly trashed is actually amazing. Sorry about that. Wanted to cut off the answering machine before it started interrupting me and talking over me. But, so like I was saying, this, despite being so small and having relatively soft bristles, can really lift the pile of this carpet incredibly well. Now, I should add in, this carpet is not actually as badly matted as it was in the Kenmore video, or Panasonic video. No one's really walked on it for the most part since the Nito ran this morning, but this machine still makes a tremendous difference in the pile and the appearance of this carpet. And as far as bare floors, there's not really too much of a way for me to show you that, but it does outperform a lot of smaller, I would say, stick-type vacuums like this. I've had great luck with it cleaning up cat litter and cat hair, especially with litter right up to the edges. This does not have, when you take a look at the bottom of the power head, it does not have the greatest or closest edge cleaning, especially on the side that the suction's not on. But the suction channels and the amount of air that this machine moves still manages to clean incredibly well. So I'm pleasantly surprised with one of these, or with these, rather. I'm actually kind of sad to see them go, and sad that I got this one late as I did, instead of having more time to possibly buy one or two more, which I might still do down the road. But all in all, it's an incredibly nice to work with, versatile little machine that's not only lightweight, but capable and powerful, which isn't always the easiest combination to find, especially when it comes to something that has tools on board and is bagged in this day and age.